What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Aftersound here, and we bring you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by, say hello. We do giveaways every stream, and we have started streaming here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday mornings. So come by, and we'll have a good time together. All right, well, today's video is a not even really a deep dive, but just a reveal. They revealed the new airdrops the second and third airdrops for Chaos Legion. This is part of this phase 2 of the sale that still requires vouchers. And there's some cool stuff. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. There are two monsters. These are both legendary. They're not the legendary summoners. We knew that was coming a little bit later, and there was a almost 99% confirmed announcement that these two first airdrops were going to be legendary, and they delivered. So to me, that is kind of why the vouchers still have value, and we've seen a little bit of an uptick in voucher prices from under $3, $2.90 as I bought a couple of vouchers yesterday, up to like $3.30 today. This is all USD. So really, really interesting to see how this will potentially move the market. Okay, so let's start with probably my favorite of the two, Bakjira. This is a legendary water monster, and this dude is an absolute unit, I gotta say. So at the lower levels, if you see him at level 1, and this will be in bronze, right? So he comes with Void, he comes with Slow, and is really just the ultimate meat shield, I would say, if you know that you are going to be fighting against a magic-based deck. 6 mana is very cheap. A speed of 2 isn't that great. Granted, it's almost like he has a speed of 3 if you think about it, because he's slowing down all other monsters at the most base level for him. So speed of 2 is whatever. He's not probably going to dodge very many things, and not with the dodge ability, but other monsters aren't necessarily going to miss in terms of if they are melee or what is that called? Melee or ranged attackers. Now here's the thing, right? If they're already 1 speed on those melee and ranged attackers, this won't affect them much, and the 1 speed difference is only a 10% chance. Now at level 1, he's got 11 health, which again, 6 mana, 11 health with Void could be very handy. I use Tusk the Wide quite a bit with my fire deck when I know that I'm going against magic-based decks, and he's been phenomenal so far. Another 6 mana tank. Granted, Tusk can actually attack, but that Void comes in very handy, especially because Tusk is quite the meat shield as well. So Bakjira, now where Bakjira gets interesting, I should say, is further up the food chain. So you get him to level 2, which is eligible for silver, and now you have Strengthen, which means every monster gets an additional health. So even though his base health will go to 12, now with this ability, he'll be at 13 every game, giving 1+ health to all the other monsters. At level 3, which is your gold level, is where I think he really begins to shine, because now you have a self-healing tank at this point, right? Self-healing Void, Slow, and Strengthen. So at 14 health, he's going to be healing 4 damage every turn. And then if you get him maxed out, it jumps from 13 base health to 16 base health, which would be 17 with the Strengthen that he comes with, which would give you 5 healings or 5 health points healed every single turn. And if you have another strength, strengthen or any kind of buff that gives another health, another monster with strengthen, or another ability or buff, whether it comes from a summoner or another monster that'll give an extra health, and he gets 18 HP, then he is healing 6 damage per turn, which is crazy. It reminds me of Kron. So this to me is fascinating. I really like him. He is susceptible to a couple of things here. The first is the fact that he's slow. The second is the ability Oppress, which does double damage to monsters that don't attack. So if somebody knows that you're going to be playing this card, they might be able to stack some Oppress cards. And I actually haven't even done a deep dive onto which cards have Oppress, at least within Chaos Legion. So that'll be something to take a closer look at. But on the whole, this guy's phenomenal, and I'm trying to think of who you would pair him with, right? So right now, as it stands in modern format, or actually, let's just look at Chaos Legion and the synergy within Chaos Legion, right? You have a tank here. You could use him anywhere. Even like a secondary tank wouldn't be bad if it's a snipe rule set or something like that. But you have a tank here that is self-healing and would have an increased speed and armor with Kelia, right? And looking at Scavo Hireling and all of the other armor repair that is happening in the game right now, that could be even more clutch, especially because armor is only good for melee and range attacks, and actually if it is a weak magic rule set. So I like this card a lot. I think especially now. So here's the thing. In the modern format, I don't know, the meta is going to completely change in the modern format. But right now, I get owned still by people who have Ulrich. And Ulrich has gotten so much more valuable, and Ulrich being the water summoner who is no longer in the starter deck that gives a +1 magic attack for each of the friendly monsters. I still get owned by Ulrich and, a slew of legendary water monsters that all do magic damage. It's hard for me to defend against that because my Bortus isn't leveled up. And even if it was, I'm not at a point where that's easy for me to defend against. Now you add Bakjira in along with Oceanus, and all of a sudden you have two monsters that have Void. One of them has a meat shield. One of them is an absolute unit and meat shield, strengthens the other monsters, and can heal himself, which I think is incredibly, incredibly valuable. So this is probably a card that I will be working to get and level up to at least gold, because I would want that heal ability, because even at gold with 14 health, you're healing 4 every turn. Oh, I didn't realize I could click on that. So hopefully that's easier for you guys to see. Even at 14 health, he would be healing 4 every turn, and that to me is still significant with the amount of damage he stops by having Void. Okay, let's go to Uriel the Purifier. Now, Uriel is a life monster, and immediately off the bat, I saw the recharge ability, and I was like, pass. I don't really care. But that's not fair, because I started thinking about what are areas in which I could use him. Now, before I speak to that, let me actually go through his abilities. So he's 11 mana on the base on the base level. So for Novice and Bronze, he is 11 mana, does 3 damage, but that damage is recharged. So it's 9 damage every other turn, starting with the second turn. Decent speed at 3, great armor at 6, great health at 10, and has flying. So, 25% ability to dodge attacks from other monsters. Now, he is susceptible in terms of the fact that he is giant killer eligible. So that would potentially do 2 damage to him. But here's the thing. When you get to silver level, so meaning level 2, he gets a self-heal ability, which, again, it's cool to see both of these monsters with self-heal. They're both units, absolute units if you think about it. 12 health, or at least 11 health when he has self-heal, which I believe is 3. He'd be able to heal himself 3 every turn. With flying, he'd be able to dodge a little bit, and he would be doing 9 damage every turn. Now, when you get to level 3, so gold, and I would feel that most people, or at least majority of the people that are probably watching this channel, are probably going to be playing at gold or lower. So at level 3, he's maxed out in terms of all of the main metrics, right? 4 damage, which now means 12 every other turn. Speed stays the same. Armor stays the same. He goes up to 12 health, meaning that he's able to heal 4 every turn. And to me, I don't know. It's not terrible. Do I like it as a tank, though? Do I like having a tank that's not going to be able to attack, especially if he's doing 12 damage and doesn't have an ability like Pierce? Like, they really nerfed Zyvax Vul. I was kind of upset about that, because you can see that Zyvax Vul has like 0 value now. Sure, he can do like 18 damage in a turn if it's if it's was it last monster. I forgot what other ability he has that kind of stacks. But yeah, without Pierce, you can hit a monster with 1 health because you can't time it on recharge, or you can't, or you end up hitting on a 1 armor. So all of the rest of that damage is kind of wasted. Now at the final level, he gets Redemption, which is ability that does 1 damage to all enemy monsters whenever he dies. It's cool. I've seen it used before. It's not something I like absolutely game plan around whether I'm using it or I'm not. Actually, I've never used it, but even when it's used against me, I can't say that it's terrible. But it's nice to have, I would say. So where would I use this guy? Just off the bat, right? I don't know that I would like him as a primary tank. I think he actually is a little rough for that. Like, he's going to be taking a ton of hits, especially if you're using him 11 mana in a game that is lower mana. Like, actually, here's the thing: if you're using an 11 mana card in a game, it's probably going to be a decently high mana game, right? And decently high meaning that like mid 20s and up, which even mid 20s would be tough because you can't really put the kind of support cards around him that he would need. So the thought that came to me, and obviously I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, is that he would be phenomenal for a melee mayhem and or a super sneak rule set. Now the melee mayhem means that melee monsters from any level can attack the front card, right? So the opponent's tank. And then the super sneak is melee monsters can attack the back card of the opponent's deck. Now, obviously Melee Mayhem is great because now all of a sudden he's useful. You don't have to put him as your main tank. You can throw him somewhere in the back and he's still able to deliver, 9 to 12 damage every turn. With Super Sneak, though, that could get interesting in the sense that obviously you don't have to rely on him being your main tank, but if there are cards attacking the back line, it's nice to have a card that can take a hit, can heal himself, and then also return the favor every other turn by doing 12 damage to the back line. So that's where I would immediately think to use him in games or rule sets like that. Again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the recharge ability, so we'll have to see. But that to me, or at least those two rule sets, seem very specific use cases where I would definitely want to have him in play for something like that. Because who doesn't want 12 damage, just lurking around the corner for your opponents every other turn? You never know when it's going to actually hit or what it might hit, but when it does, at least it'll be big. So these are the two cards. It's nice to see the team release these. I don't know if it was, there's a lot of just anxiety. There's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of just tiredness. I think people are tired of this massive sell-off, this massive boring phase that crypto and Bitcoin specifically are going through, and has caused really a major price correction across the board, or at least consolidation period, right? And for those who bought in at the top of SPS, those who bought in at $1 thinking this thing was going to skyrocket to $10, you're down like 75 to 80%. And that's a rough place to be. So this is not an investment video, but it's nice to see the team showing things out there. And hopefully, not that I want SPS and DEC to pump and dump, right? I'm not selling. It's more so just buy and hold and get the benefits of them. But it would be nice to see an announcement like this give a little bump to the overall ecosystem to show that there is a phenomenal community around and potentially some new players that might be interested in getting in after seeing these cards, right? So like I said, we saw the voucher price jump up a little bit. I think that's great. And yeah, but as somebody who's buying vouchers or planning to buy vouchers, I kind of like them under $3, so who knows? We'll see how it goes. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Wanted to keep it short and sweet. Let me know your thoughts on these two new cards. If you're planning to get them, if you're planning to buy vouchers to get a chance to get them. And yeah, I will see you in the next video, and I will see you around the game. And if I don't see you, have a happy holiday season. Take care.